Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I have 3 tutorials for you. I want to show you how to make this round flower and then turn it into a square. The small one is about 2.5 inch and the large one is about 3.5 inch. These ones that I have in front of me have all been blocked, so they might be a little smaller if you don't block them out. They have all been created with the same type of yarn and the same hook size. So it really is the pattern that defines how big a square you get. And you can of course put these together if you want to. And you can of course also play around with the colors. I have made some, for the smaller one, I made some in different colors like these ones. Really fun. You can play around with that as well. The technique is more or less the same for all 3 sizes. We're going to create a center of the flower, so it's the yellow one, and then the petals, the pink one, and then we're going to finish off by creating an edge that will turn it into a square. This video is a little long because I have all 3 tutorials in this video, so I'll put the timestamps in the description and you can choose to jump around in the video if you want to. Let's get started. So for all 3 sizes, we will start by creating a ring. You can do a magic ring if you want to. I am going to do a ring by chaining 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'm going to slip stitch into the first chain, and that will create a nice little ring. Like that. So for the small flower square, we're going to have 8 single crochets for the first round. So, and I'm not chaining anything in the beginning. I'm just going straight into the ring, pulling up my yarn, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, and going through my 2 loops. So here's our first single crochet. I'm going to add 7 more. So 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, 7 and 8. So this is our foundation ring. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 single crochets. I'm going to find the first single crochet that we created. So it's up here. It's a little tight, but it is up here. I'm going to find that and go in and slip stitch like that. So this creates our foundation ring. It's now closed, and you can just pull the yarn through the loop on your hook, snap that yarn off like this, and tighten it up, and now we are ready for round number 2. So now we're ready to start working on our petals. So we're going to attach this new yarn collar, and we're going to work in each of the single crochets from the last round. So go ahead and attach your yarn into one of these single crochets. I am going to grab my yarn, pull it through, and tie a knot. But you can do this any way you like. We're going to start with a chain 3. For some people that matters in the way they're attaching their yarn. So I have now attached my yarn. We're going to build the petals by putting double crochet, half done double crochets together. It's a lot easier than it sounds. The first one is a little special because we're going to start with chain 3. So go in there, grab your yarn, chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to put in a double crochet, but we're not going to finish it. So yarn over and go into the same stitch, grab the yarn, come up. You now have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and go through 2 loops. Now we have 2 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over again, go into the same stitch, come up, grab the yarn. You now have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over and go through 2 of them. So now we have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, go into the same stitch again, grab the yarn, come up, yarn over and go through 2 loops. So now we have 4 loops on our hook, and we're going to yarn over and go through all 4 loops at once, like that. And this creates our petals, sorry. Then we're going to chain 2 between each of the petals, like that. I'll show you how to do the next one. So go into the next single crochet, yarn over, go in, grab the yarn, come up, you'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and go through 2 of the loops and stop. Yarn over into the same stitch, grab the yarn, come up, 4 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through 2 loops. Now we have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, same stitch, grab the yarn, come up, 5 loops on our hook, yarn over and go through 2. One last time, yarn over into the same stitch, grab the yarn, come up. Now we have 6 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through 2. So now we have 5 loops on our hook, and we have 4 half done double crochets down here. So we're going to crochet them together by yarning over and going through all of the loops on our hook. And again, chain 2 between each petal. So 2. And this is how the round goes. You just continue and make all 8 of them. So we need 6 more. And I'll meet you over here and show you how we fasten off and end this round. So now I am done with my last petal. I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to go over to the first one we created. So this over here we have our chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go into that top chain up here. I'm going to slip stitch to complete this round, like that. And then you can just yarn over and cut off the yarn, and we are ready for round number 3. So in this final round, we're going to build the corners and the sides to create a square. And you can start pretty much wherever you want. I think we'll just go ahead. We'll be working in the chain spaces between the petals. And again, choose which one you like and attach your yarn. So I'm just going to go in here, grab my yarn and attach it with the knot, like that. And I think we'll just start, let's start in the corner. So we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. And the corner will be a cluster of 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and then another cluster of 3 double crochets. So let's do that first. So I'll do the first double crochet next to the chain 3. So 1, and we're going to add 1 more, and 2. So this will be our first cluster of 3 double crochets, like that. And then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to do the same one more time, still working in that same chain space. So 1 double crochet and 2 and 3. So this is our first corner. It looks like this. And we have 8 petals, so we're going to have 4 corners and then 1 cluster between each corner, and that cluster will be 3 half double crochets. So yarn over, go into the next chain space, grab the yarn, come up, and then we do a half double crochet. So we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook, like that. Do 2 more, like that, and 1 last. So this is the side of the square. And then we're moving into the next one, next chain space, and we do a new corner. So 3 double crochets, chain 2, 1, 2, and 3 more double crochets. And this completes our second corner. And then we're going to continue and then do a cluster of 3 half double crochets over here in the next space, and then a corner, 3 half double crochets, corner, 3 half double crochets. And then we're going to fasten off in our third chain over here. I'm going to finish this round and show you how to do that. So I just finished my cluster of 3 half double crochets, and I'm going to slip stitch in the third chain from the chain 3 that we did in the beginning. So it's up here. So just go in, pull the yarn through both loops on your hook, and you can just yarn over and snip off your yarn, and then your little small flower square is done. So now we're ready for the medium-sized flower square. I just created a ring by chaining 4 and slip stitching. You can do the same, or you can do a magic ring. For this one, we're going to put in 12 double crochets. So we'll start by chaining 3. 1, 2, 3. This will be our first double crochet. And so we're just going to add 12 more double crochets, and that will create our foundation ring. So now I have done my 12 double crochet, or 11 double crochet plus this chain 3 in the beginning. We're going to finish the round by finding our third chain from the beginning and go in and slip stitch. And that completes our, well, the center of our flower. And you can just go ahead and snip off the yarn, and we'll be ready for round number 2. So now we're ready to start creating the petals. It's done the same way as we did for the small flower square. So attach your yarn in one of the top stitches from our double crochets from the first round. I've done that by creating a knot. So we'll go in and we'll chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to add 3 half done double crochets. So yarn over, go into the same stitch, grab the yarn, come up, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, go through 2. Yarn over into the same stitch, grab the yarn, come up, 4 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through 2. One more time, into that same stitch, come up, 5 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through 2. And now we have 4 loops on the hook, and we're going to yarn over and go through all 4 loops like that, and that will build our petals. Between each we're going to chain 2, so 1, 2. For the next one, we're just going to yarn over, go into the stitch, grab the yarn, come up, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through once, 2 loops on the hook, and we're going to add 3 more, and then we're going to yarn over all of them at the end. So one more time into the stitch, and that you're going to do all the way around until, and you're going to have 4 undone double crochets and 5 loops on your hook, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. And again, remember to chain 2 between each of them. Just go ahead and do that all the way. You'll end up with 12 petals, and then we're ready to start round number 3. So I am done with my petal number 12, and I'm just going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then we can finish this round by attaching into the third chain that we created in the beginning. So that's over here. Go in and slip stitch, and you can cut off the yarn, and we are ready for round number 3. So now we're ready to create our edging or the border so it becomes a square. We're going to work in the chain 2 spaces like we did for the small flower square. I just attached my yarn with a knot. You can do it any way you like. Maybe you would like to do a standing stitch. You can of course do that as well. Let's start in the corner. So we're going to chain 3 to create a double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. Going to create 2 more or add 2 more double crochets in that same space. So here we have that. So a cluster of 3 double crochets in the beginning. I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to add another cluster of 3 double crochets. 1 and 2 and 3. So that's the same thing that we did for the small version. But we have 12 petals, so we're going to have, of course, 4 corners, and then we're going to have 2 clusters between each corner. For the small one, we only have 1, and we're going to put in double crochets. We're not going to crochet between them, chain anything. We're just going straight into the next chain space and adding 3 double crochets, 2 and 3, and again move straight into the next chain space. Also add 3 double crochets, 1 and 2 and 3, and then the next one will be a corner, so that will be a cluster of 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and put in another cluster of 3 double crochets. Like that. And that is how this pattern works. So 2 more clusters of double crochets like we have over here, corner, 2 clusters, corner, and 2 clusters. I'm gonna add that and I'll meet you over here and show you how to finish off this round. So now I am done with the last cluster of 3 double crochets. I'm just going to find my top chain from the beginning and go in there and slip stitch like that. And this completes our medium-sized flower square. So let's make the large-sized flower square. I did my foundation chain in the beginning, so chaining 4 and connecting them to a ring. You can do a magic ring if you want to. And then I have added 12 double crochets into the ring, so a chain 3 and 11 double crochets. We're going to add an extra round for this foundation of the flower. So we're going to, I'm not going to slip stitch right now. I'm just going to go straight into the second round. So I'm going to find my chain 3 from the beginning, 1, 2, 3, so it's up here. So I'm just gonna go in there and I'm going to put in a single crochet like that. And because this round is going to be a little snug, I am going to mark out this first single crochet just so I can keep track of where it is. Then we're going to put in a single crochet in each top stitch, top of the double crochet stitch, but we're going to add a chain 1 between each. So let's chain 1, go into the next, put in a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, and just do that all the way around, and I'll show you how we finish off this round. So now I have my 12 single crochets with a chain 1 between each. So I just put in my last single crochet, and I can release my stitch marker, and I'm going to chain 1 and go into that first single crochet, and I'm going to slip stitch. So now we have 12 chain spaces that we can work in for the next round. Just go ahead and fasten off, and we're ready to start round number 2. Now we're ready to start working our petals, and for this large flower square, they are a little different than the ones from the small and the medium one. So we're going to work in the chain spaces between the single crochets that we just did. If you have some difficulties finding them, you can just insert your hook and it becomes pretty obvious which ones are the chain spaces, and it's every every other one. So I attach my new color yarn, and I'm going to insert my hook and come up, and I'm going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to do the same thing with half done stitches crochet together, but we're going to do trebles and not double crochet. So that's why we're chaining 4. So for trebles, we're going to yarn over twice, and we're going to the same stitch, and we come up and we pull the yarn through. So we have 4 loops on the hook, and we're going to yarn over, go through 2 loops, yarn over and go through 2 loops. But don't make that last one, only 2 of them and not 3. We're going to do that one more time. So yarn over twice into the same stitch, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and you will have 3 loops on your hook. I'm going to make one last, so yarn over twice into the same stitch, come up, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. We'll have 4 loops on our hook, and we're going to yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. So this creates our petal with treble crochets. I'm going to chain 2 between each, as we did for the other ones, and then we're going to go into the next space. So yarn over twice, go down, come up, 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and leave those 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over twice into the same space, come up, 5 loops on the hook, yarn over once, yarn over twice, and now we have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over twice into that same stitch, come up, 6 loops on the hook, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. Now we have 4 loops on our hook. One more time, yarn over twice into the same stitch, come up. We now have 7 loops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 loops on the hook, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and now we have 5 loops on our hook, yarn over and go through all 5 of them, and then chain 2. And that is how you're going to work all the way around, and when you're done, you should have 12 of them, and I'll show you over here how we finish this round. So now I'm done with my 12 panels. I'm going to find my 4th chain from the beginning. So remember, we didn't chain 3, we chained 4. So mine is up here, and I'm just gonna go in and slip stitch like that, and we can fasten off and go into the last round. So let's start building our edge, and we're going to do the same thing as we did with the medium one. So we have 4 corners and 2 clusters between each corner. The corners will be built in trebles. So let's just start with the corner. You can also start with one of the side clusters if you want to, but let's just start with the corner. So we're going to chain 4, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to add 2 trebles next to that chain 4. So 1, and 2, and then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and another cluster of trebles next to it. So in the same stitch, 3 trebles, 1 and 2 and 3. And that's a corner, so you're going to do that for the 3 other corners. In between, we're going to have 2 clusters, and that will just be double crochets. So let's go ahead and do that. So 1 cluster of 3 double crochets. And again, we're not chaining anything to get from one chain space to the other, just moving straight into it. So first one, move into the next chain space, put in 3 double crochets. Whoops, lost that one. Let's do that again. So 1 and 2 and 3. Then we move into the next chain space, and that will be a corner. So we're going to put in 3 trebles. So that was 1 and 2 and 3. And we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and put in 3 more trebles. 1, 2, and 3, and then completes the corner. And then you're just going to move into the next chain space and add 3 double crochets, and then you have the pattern for this last round. So here's how it goes: corner, 2 clusters, corner, 2 clusters, corner, 2 clusters, corner, and 2 clusters. I will finish this round and meet you over here and show you how to fasten off. So now I'm done with my cluster of 3 double crochets up here. I'm just going to find my 4th chain in the chain 4 that I did in the beginning. I'm going to go in there and slip stitch. And this completes this last round of our large flower square. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'd really like to know which one of these you like the best. Do you even have a favorite? I don't think I have a favorite. I think I like both of them a lot. If you have any comments or questions, you can just leave them below and I'll get back to you. And if you feel like it, please like and subscribe. Have a great day.